excited for how they will run here tonight. Cody Reed has already put in the chat saying, wow, no Cody Reed pick. What the heck? Well, Cody, last time we picked you, you got yourself wrecked out. We're trying to give you a little bit of luck to help you out here tonight. And speaking about luck, let's take a look at our Lucky Ducks Motorsports starting grid. Taking the pole here this evening to start out the season strong, it's Zach Hall in the 32. Jared Talmadge will be to his outside for the front row in the 27. Third place, we find Cody Reed in the 25, as he's not unhappy that we didn't pick him, but we'll see how well he can run here tonight. Brian McCann will be coming out in fourth place to start tonight. Jocko Kanata, great qualifying time in fifth. Ryan Kelly will qualify in sixth. Watch out for that 3. He could be a sneaky driver all throughout this season. Cedric Connor trying to go for his 4th opening win in his career here in the WSSR. Can that happen? He has to start 7th here tonight. One of the
Daytona
favorite rookies that can really go for a championship run, Jake Nichols, starts in 8th place in 73 with Vincent Sora in 9th place. And finishing out our top 10, another rookie joining the fray in the number 35 machine of Danny Ware.
Starting back in 11th will be the 98 machine of Ben Keeney, into his outside the number 33 of Isaac Reimer starting 12th. Gavin Rogers, last season's champion in the number 1 machine, starting back in the 13th position. And Brian Noel in the 00 back in the 14th. Samuel S. Garcia returning back, starting in the 15th, the number 50 machine, with Ali Fonseca to his outside, starting in 16th position in the number 24. Larry Yingling back in racing, ready to be, try his chance at another championship, starting back in the 17th position, with Thomas Green, who's outside in 18th in the number 31 machine. And Ross Tatum and Alan J. Elwood rounding out the top 20, starting in 19th and 20th, respectively.
In 21st, the driver who has to start at the end of the line. A penalty carrying over for himself. It's the 28 of Brian P. Johnson. He's well trying to go for his 4th career opening race win, which will be done here tonight. With another rookie joining us, that's going to be Jan van Leer in the number, he's going to be starting in the 22nd position in the number 10. John Forbes, no longer the 1. He now moves over to the number 7 for season 12 in 23rd position. James Arian typing in. He's ready to be involved in a wreck. We'll see if the 9 can survive tonight. He'll start in 24th. Matt Muir will start in 25th, but moving down position. In 27th, it's the 22, another brand new driver joining with us, of Jordan Barambir. Barabee, to watch out for in 22. Chuck Sweeney making his grand return, as he's been away for quite a while for the WSSR, except for the 57 on how well he's grown throughout his career away from the series. With Chris Stitz in 29th, 30th is Ethan Smith, and finishing out our final couple of drivers, GT Rosari in 31st, with Curtis Preston in 32nd. Al Rochelle in 33rd, Travis Everett in 34th, and Kenny Cochran, our 35th driver here tonight. Excited for tonight's race. 90 laps, no stage break, no fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. Richard, what are you expecting for these drivers in the early
going? Well, if it goes green, which I highly doubt, it weird 30, 30, 30.
What we've seen in the late 90s, early 2000s NASCAR racing, these guys are going to try to get in line and try to save these cars for the end of the race, because with no stage break, no fast repairs, you don't really have time to get that car repaired to get back out on track. So keeping that car, keeping your nose nice and clean.
Hey, Derek, how's it going?
Make sure that you're there at the end to make the move for your chance to win the opening race.
35 drivers have registered for tonight's race. 35 enter, but only 1 will take away the victory here tonight. The last time we were in a Gen 4 variant vehicle on this track, it was a 3-wide finish.
Just as soon as I started getting good at the next gen, right?
Here tonight, we're now on the newly Gen 4 car that is officially a staple now by racing. We're still on the bumpy 08 course, and for the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs, let season 12 begin as green flag is out of the air. Zach Hall, Jared Talmadge already roaring up to speed. Who will help them? Can you survive? The drivers have said it is a loose and handful this evening. Now let's see how 30-plus drivers can survive in a finish. We take up and go down into turn number 1. Richard, they're 2x2, and we'll see how long that wants to last for.
Drivers on this track screaming around Daytona National Speedway, these old-style NASCAR cars. Great showing so far. They are still too wide, but doing a great job. Everyone seems to be giving themselves some space, because even though this is the super speedway package that they have given us for these Gen 4 cars, getting up on the bumper isn't necessarily still the best. You can still get that nose right underneath the rear bumper and get them extremely loose and spin them out. So a lot of care is being taken for these guys. They're able to come around turn 4 into the tri-oval to finish lap 1, and the leader will be Jake Nichols leading the first lap of season 12.
Jared Talmadge looking good for that 27 machine. He is one of the drivers that's a favorite to watch out for this season. He is so strong, and that has been the rumblings over all the off seasons, all the trials of this series. At State High, dropping backwards, going to be seeing a 00 of Brian Noel getting shuffled into the outside wall. He's got to get up to speed quickly because he is almost 10 miles per hour slower than the field, and if he loses the draft, he will be on his lonesome, and it'll take about 10 laps from the drop out from being grouped up. He's almost completely lost the
heck yeah.
Ethan Smith's trying to back up just slightly to give the arrow help, but I don't think this 00 is getting up to speed in time. He is still too slow to be gaining up.
I ain't even pushing either.
Like that in the blink of an eye. Our first drivers lost the lead pack in the first 2 laps. As Jared Talmadge, he was the favorite last season on super speedways. He dominated that realm. He was always
I got my teammates over my Discord, but the stream can't hear them.
Winning at every single track we were going.
So I'm not talking to myself over here.
Now, over the off season, they were doing some testing with this vehicle at multiple different tracks.
That's my teammate behind me, Ryan.
Was always the fastest, the most consistent, had the least tire wear. The 27, if you talk to a lot of drivers, probably would be your ultimate favorite for the championship. There's no big updates, but there's been rumblings. Could be a big Gen 4 update after our new year.
It'll be interesting to see how they draft.
Drivers have
yeah, it'll be very interesting.
Will anybody be able to do anything, or is it just going to be the top side only the whole time?
We're going to adjust with this.
It's the top side only. That's going to suck.
We've seen it before. We've seen the next gens go through phases in the middle of the season where, you know, a couple of drivers might be dominating, then a huge update comes to the cars, and then the complete shift of output happens. The drivers become a lot faster and a little bit better with how the car handles, and it kind of fit into their play style, their racing style. So it's going to be interesting to see that if this big update for the cars comes through, who will be the top of the board?
Oil temp and water temp is cool.
As they're doing exactly what
don't even have to worry about it.
All trying to get up to that outside line and drive in a single file line. But that inside line is doing everything they can to try to get back up to the front and keep up with this outside.
And get ramped up speed. Cody Reed in the 25 gets up from the 98 of Ben.
So really it's going to come down to pit.
The one of Gavin Rogers just trying to woo their way forward.
Pit strategy.
With some of the other drivers that are entering into this season, our rookie of Isaac Reimer. Now, we've seen Isaac running on our Monday nights Trinity Racing League that we cover here. See what some of the rookies are attempting their first.
There's one car off the track
in this series. We've got Danny Ware's rookie, Isaac Reimer. Barabee, who's going to be it's going to be Ware. Big shuffle and saved by the 35. Still down on the apron. We continue to stay green for now, but it's trouble even deeper in the field as drivers, about 3 of them are scattered now, make it 4. As Danny Cochran in the 2 machine, as well as Alan Elwood, Kyle Rochelle, Chuck Sweeting, all around, and yellow flag is out. What a bizarre quick snap for this field.
Yeah, I think that wreck actually started about middle of the backstretch before we saw this driver, you know, get a little loose there on the turn. But yeah, first caution a few laps into the race here. It's going to be
I'm alive.
We're going to have to see what caused that, though. Just I think it was just a small spin in the back stretch. There it is, right there.
It was a grouping of drivers around the 5 machine. As there's drivers piling in late. Chuck Sweeting,
yeah, we
not able to find
window ain't open till lap 20, right?
Into that chaos, but the 5 machine of Alan Elwood was the driver who got the bad bump that really started all of this chaos. As drivers were running into one another,
pit road is now
and
open.
Just continued to ricochet around. Here's going to be a look at it as everyone's getting in line, and just a bad quarter panel tap, and away goes the 5, and other drivers piling in.
Yeah, it's just a bad tap on the backstretch there to the number 5 machine and just sent him around. It's something they're going to have to let. There's a car flipping on the backstretch there. So, huge hit for Danny Cochran.
He's going to pick the top side. I'm going to be stuck on the bottom.
Flipping end over end. We'll just see what happened here.
Maybe my teammate
the number 12
won't be able to let me in either.
Behind the number 5. It looks like just a late decision. Just kind of gets.
My next teammate is in 12th.
Quarter panel. and up over the hood of the 10, but he gets back on the ground. It's just a 57 coming in, not really being able to slow down or anywhere to go. And Danny Cochran for a wild ride into turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, Danny's just trying his best. That's the 12 Cal Rochelle that went in with the bad bump. But here's going to be a ride along. If you have motion sickness, might want to look away. But in the mirror, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out where Chuck thought he was going. I understand that the 12 and the 2 might have been drifting down, but there was no caution thrown until after this contact and then the bizarre wrecking happening around. Like I said, I think bizarre is the only word to say. Wasn't expecting to see that. We knew that there was a potential of a driver flipping, but I don't think we were expecting to see it happen in that quick of a fashion.
That quick of a fashion and that violent also, because that was a hard hit from Chuck Sweeting. Danny Cochran's going to be in the pits for quite a while. A lot of panels been up. He's even missing the rear trunk cover there as well. So that's going to be some major repairs for him to be able to get back out on track and even be able to keep up maintained speed. So bizarre wreck indeed to start this race off, but still got a lot of racing and a lot of cars still out on track.
I know that's going to be a little bit frustrating for some of the people out in chat. One of those being Trent McKenzie, that was super excited to see what Danny Cochran had for tonight's race. Known for being very good at super speedways, but it looks like for Danny Cochran, his season might have to officially start next week at the 08 configuration of Atlanta. Also, a little bit of a cheeky comment from Nick Crawford. Looks like the 2-car got his pilot's license, mainly because Danny Cochran is going for his pilot's license. So we got a little bit of testing of airborne in sim.
Let's see, is he going to pick the bottom or top?
Officially out of the server, still getting repairs, is going to be the 10 machine. Going to be seeing how Jan Van Laer is going to get their machine fixed up, as well as Danny Cochran. Jay Tarian got a little bit of repairs done for himself, same for Kyle Rochelle, and they are back out on track. As everyone from 20th on back came in the pit road to get service done. Jared Talmadge, Brian McCann, Ryan Kelly, all will stay out there on track as we are waiting for the one to go indicator.
This is the biggest league in the series.
Our lights go off.
Everybody's here to see it.
There we go. It's getting ready for one to go here tonight. I mean, Richard,
sold out crowd.
I think some of these drivers wanted, but this was the worry with having over 30 drivers, a car that you can. That's really unstable.
I'm surprised he picked the bottom.
Those moments are probably going to blossom up a little bit more as this race progresses into its more intense factors later on.
We'll see his drivers, when it gets especially down to the cut line, getting.
I thought for sure he was going to pick the top.
10 or 15 laps to go. That's where the aggression's probably going to skyrocket for these guys, especially the ones in the back trying to make their way up front. My biggest thing I'm very intrigued about is how the tire wear is going to affect these guys at this track in these cars. So as we saw, the 20th on back went in, took service. It looks like a few of them just got fuel, but a few did take tires as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if the tires actually do affect how this car handles here on this 08 surface. So it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, all drivers given 4 extra sets of tires in pit road if they want to use them at any point here this evening. That was actually something I didn't forget. I was curious on the fact that these drivers say that this vehicle feels so loose. Would handling be a factor that you want to make sure you got fresh rubber for, or would you like a little bit more of a worn-in tire to feel like you're more comfortable out there on the course? But up front, drivers stacked up. It's going to be the 27 of Jared Talmadge leading the way on the inside with Brian McCann on the outside. Brian McCann obviously running one of Dale Hartshire's old aging liveries, and I think that's so much fun with the Gen 4s. We're going to see a lot of liveries that are kind of throwback schemes. Some are running their own personal schemes that they just want to show off their own sponsors, but those throwback liveries are always fun to see them come out on these classic vehicles that iRacing has scanned. Pace car about to pull off. We're about to go back to Green Flag Racing. Race 1 of Season 12 of the WSSR.
You want to go topside or go around?
Series presented by Elwood Designs is back underway. And trying to get in line quickly. It's going to be the 8, the 3, and the 27. A lot of single filing out immediately. No one
will catch up.
2 by 2. And 90, that was a little bit jarring to see.
He's going top.
Just getting that line there, Richard, because it's kind of broken up to our top 3 are gapping everyone else that's still trying to find their footing to get in line.
Yeah, that was impressive to see those 3 guys just quickly in the single file line here as everybody else fights side by side. But that was the exact goal I was saying that these drivers probably are going to look at doing. Get a single file as quick as possible. Save yourselves from any wrecks like we had just saw on the backstretch last refire run. So, but that you can see right there, you know, the top almost 10 cars already in single file line, but huge moves coming in from Ross Tatum as he shoots to the inside to try to make some passes, get that inside line working as well as he pulls up right behind the number 33 there, try to get that inside line going and get some momentum in there.
A lot of drivers over the radio trying to announce, hey, we're starting to check up, we're starting to slow down, being very vocal to each other are ways the drivers can relay information to try to minimize any type of wrecks or incidences.
Damn it.
That's going to be Jordan Barry, who's going to be just still stuck in the wall. He'll lose the trap for the 22.
Ain't no reason to bump him.
Miserable start to this most recent restart. As over the radio, he is not. Here's going to be seen.
Just all single file.
New number.
No, I'm not gonna hit him.
No progression. John Forbes didn't get by the point of Tatum. And seeing Forbes moving forward.
Too risky.
One of Gavin Rogers. It's going to be a while to get used to some of these numbers because I'm so used to the 7 being Douglas Newbegin. Not the case. He's moved over to the 77. A couple of other drivers trying to find their own footing as stuck in the middle going backwards. Curtis Preston in the 29. He's getting
close to that wall.
He is
I don't want to get sucked into it.
With no help behind.
Yeah, that sucker hole is detrimental to these drivers. You get stuck there, you get no help, you got no drafting help and a whole bunch of side draft from everybody around you, but he's able to slot in right above into the outside line there, so he's not going to lose a ton of ground. He's going to be able to stay in the draft, stay in this group as well, so great work from him, and I think a little bit of help from the driver behind him as well, so he's doing good, staying up there in that top line. But yeah, no, the different numbers is going to be something to get used to as well. Luckily, Gavin Rogers being the previous champion is going to be a little easier to understand that one because the rule of the number 1 being able to be ran by the prior champion. So
that is true, Derek.
Douglas Newbegin also not in the number 7 being John Forbes now.
I don't see any kind of bottom line foreman behind me.
Drivers are going to be doing on this inside line. They are still trying to get some momentum built up in that line and get it working.
The number 10 of Beyond Van was just trying to find his way to move forward. It was one of the drivers.
This is how it's going to be the whole race. This kind of sucks.
Half the repairs that he had to put on this 10 machine after being involved with an incident, and now still working pretty well. I mean, these drivers that had damage as big looseness by the 50 machine. Samuel Garcia will try to get slotted best that he can. We're starting to see a little bit of a breakaway of our top 12. A little bit more comfortable up front, single filed out, not a lot of side-by-side with the wobble that's happening for most of the field. As Cody Reed,
no stage breaks
up to move forward. We also have a report in the
straight 90 lap if we can make it.
Meeting. That was the shortest race I've had in years, and yeah, that was not the way that we wanted to see Chuck start season 12. His grand return to the WSSR Cup Series in the early years of this series.
I don't even know if we're doing playoffs this year or season.
To see what he's going to bring out tonight, not going to be the case anymore. We also have an update of more drivers calling tonight with Chuck. Danny Cochran officially out of this race.
Oh, wow.
And you can now
I didn't think I was close enough to hit him.
Be out of this race. All right. He's done as well. So 3 drivers out.
Good to know.
1 still on the track. 30 is officially still attached to the track currently, and it's still Jared Talmadge leading the way for himself, but starting to see the inside lane. Starting to find some more drivers willing to go down there, building up some momentum. And Richard, here we go.
Oh, we got a line coming.
Inside of our
you see that line, Ron?
Back to the side-by-side racing, but this inside line has finally found some momentum as they're starting to inch forward and get that speed working. But every time a car gets in front of them, it takes a while for them to get that speed back moving. As you saw the 24 earlier, and kind of dropped down below.
I'm just going to say high, probably.
Build that momentum back up, but they are on the shortest way around the track. That is what's really helping these guys. The outside does have that momentum. They can keep the speed up coming off the turn down the straightaways. So, as you can see right there is the 24 Valley Fonseca losing some ground to those guys on the outside. They've got to figure something out to get moving back forward again.
Talking about moving, we're seeing a lot of movement. The drivers just bouncing up and down, looseness throughout the corner. and just trying to have a handful of this vehicle. When we think about the current configuration of Daytona, repavement, how much smoother it is, and all about holding a straight line, carrying those momentum that way. I mean, watching these drivers right now, Richard, it just looks like stay in line with the draft and then just hope and pray.
I'll just stay on this bumper as close as I can without hitting them unless I'm on the straight.
It's going to be different that we used to say with the next gen cars is, you know, don't push the pusher. Like, you could a little bit, but it's something you don't really want to do. Right now, you don't even want to be the pusher pushing the guy in front of you just because you don't want that chance of lifting their rear end up and causing a huge spin. So a lot of it is just, you know, get as close as you can to get as much air off that guy in the front of you to get them moving forward. That's the best way to draft here. There's not a lot of pushing you can do.
Ethan Smith, deeper in the field, able to keep his foot in the throttle longer than anyone else. Put down the fastest lap of the day so far. As the 99 lingers all the way back in 25th position, and that back half group all still trying to ramp up to full speed and keep their position. The front still drivers
going low off the exit of the turn hurts me.
Traditional super speedway
catch too much air.
Back in the day with this Gen 4 car was a lot of control your lane, carry the speed, and a lot of drivers staying to the outside. Curious on those final 20 laps though. Willing to make some bigger moves, and will we see the top 5 kind of just break away from one another as Jared Talmadge doesn't really have any friends or allies for himself. As Talmadge is part of Lucky Duck Motorsports.
That bottom side, they're not doing too good.
Heaney, Brian Noel, Douglas Newbigin. Excuse me, he's part of Lucky Duck Team 1. It's got John.
Well, they make it to about 5th.
And Gavin Rogers. None of those drivers are really close to this 27. He's doing all this work just trusting the drivers that are behind him. Or we probably want this 8 is willing to follow at this time, but when we see the first driver drop down, that's what I'm most curious about.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see when he gets his teammates up there, if they're going to be able to control this race. But him being all the way out by himself, I mean, he's got nobody to really help him out. But the good thing is all the drivers are just kind of staying in line on the outside with him. Nobody's really trying to make a move, and they really shouldn't be right now. It's still a very long race, a lot of laps to go still. There's no reason to take any chances, make a move that can completely send you all the way back to the back of the field when you're running with the second, third, fourth, and fifth right now. So staying behind Jared Talmadge, that's the plan for these drivers on the outside line. The inside line still doing everything they can to try to get that momentum back.
He is testing that wall.
Working together. One of the drivers is going to watch out for it.
Of course, he can see it a little bit better than I can.
Brian Kelly behind him, part of the Cody Glenn Cox Music Racing Team. That's Brian McCann, Chris Stitz, Larry Yingling, and Ryan Kelly that are all a part of the team. We're going to moving forward at some point. Watch out for the team called the Outsiders. That's Curtis Preston in the 29, the 14 GT Rosari, and the 94 Travis Everett. Those drivers, if they can get together, would work out great. But as we're seeing right now, drivers kind of left on their lonesome are a few. As Curtis Preston's all by himself, Ryan Kelly is just nowhere to be found. And then you've got this trio that's kind of just waiting for chaos to strike. James Aaron, Matt Meir, and Everett, which is waiting in 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Just kind of sitting in the back waiting for something to happen at this point because they're so far back. It's not like they can make any massive moves to move up through the field anymore, but they're just kind of sitting back here waiting for any kind of big wreck to happen so they can keep their car clean and not be involved in the wreck. Like I was saying earlier, keep that car clean, you'll be there at the end, and that's what they're doing. They're taking the strategy, keeping that car safe, staying out of this tail. Because that two-wide racing, I mean, these cars are bouncing on these turns, and they're sliding all over the place. So, I mean, the chance of someone getting into the side of another car, it's not as low as you would think with how much these cars have been moving around.
13 machine winner of the Daytona race all the way back in season 7. So that's when he found himself in victory lane for the second opener of his career that he got done. His only super speedway win at Daytona win was 13. Maybe grab a little bit more magic as more drivers stuck into the inside, trying to find a space to move forward. Zach Paul now going to be leading that inside groove with Vincent Sora. Might see that 13 drop.
Coming up on a lap car, going low.
Very nice. Esports. As Category 5 Esports, going to be Brian P. Johnson, Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, and Zach Paul. And you can see some drivers really willing to give the bumper, as when you can see the engine off this gearbox cam, that means that driver is right there, giving a huge push, trying to allow the driver to carry as much speed as possible. But you got to be careful pushing drivers into the corner. That can get you a little bit squirrely if you're not careful, as GT Rosari in the 14 was that driver all the way on the outside, as the 14 has finally registered up 15 laps down, but due to missing that first big wreck, he'll gain 3 positions and move up to 32nd in just 2 laps.
Yeah, sometimes even like you're, quite a few laps down, you're not going to make up those laps and get back on the lead lap, but just get out there, stay on the track, you don't get involved in a wreck. The people that do get involved in a wreck, you're going to pass them and make up points. And a season long where points matter, every point is huge. So GT Rosari back out on track, no chance to win this race, but points are what's on his mind today, and that's all he's out there trying to get at this point.
And the lack of bonus points, due to the fact that there's no stage racing anymore in the WSSR series and the Elwood designs, I think that's the portion that drivers are excited about, because it puts so much more pressure on finishing the race and not just running the first quarter and then find out how to survive. And now drivers that are willing to have that mental fortitude to just continue motoring through, even though they feel like their night's already over, they will be rewarded later on in the season. But no stage racing, Richard, I think that's a factor that we've been starting to see kind of be a trend now in iRacing leagues, of leagues moving away from the way that actual NASCAR runs week in, week out.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the.
Well, if a single file like this,
really interesting.
chances of caution are pretty low.
Very short part of the race. I do kind of like the factor that these drivers, they don't have a break now. They've got to race from green flag to checkered flag with occasional scattered yellow flags throughout the race that could happen. But it's not, hey, we're going to race and plan our strategy around this stage break, and then we're going to go out and try and win the race. It's, how far can we run these fuel mileage, fuel numbers, tires? It's all a huge factor now, and it's great to see, because we get a lot more long green flag runs today to see actual racing.
I've been watching Douglas Newbane and also some of the hairy situations ahead of him. A couple of times in front of the 77, they squared away. As drivers, as this run has progressed on, they've been out there for 24 laps on this set of tires. And I've been starting to notice, Richard, the handling is showing. Drivers are getting pretty snappy loose in the center of the corner. I've seen a couple of drivers go very sideways, had to correct it, while also trying to carry good momentum, not to just check up everyone behind them.
Lap car low.
To a point where I think if we get later on this race, drivers are going to have to make that absolute decision. Easy. Worth taking tires or not, but also with no stage racing, there's not an absolute point that there's going to be a caution to pit. Drivers have to make this decision. Those that topped up on fuel, did you make the right call, or some drivers that stayed out that are going to have to pit sooner than you make the better decision, because pit stops are going to be lingering.
28 cars in this pack.
Next about 15 to 20 laps.
Yeah, pit stops are going to be huge. It's going to be the big decision on
10, yeah.
Tires or no tires. And, like you were saying, these cars are kind of darty all over the place. They're getting a little snappy loose in the middle of the turns. It would not be smart to not take at least 2 tires. And depending on how much you run this fuel out, you might even be able to take 4 tires with the amount of fuel you have to take. So it's going to be a very interesting time when green flag pit stops do come about, to see what drivers take what.
We're going to do 2 tire?
But yeah, these guys, it's exactly what we were expecting to see for this style car at this style track. I mean, they're all getting in single file line here.
Do we have a full tank, or is it less than 100% we're running?
For these guys that are further back in the field, still got some drivers. The number 5 of Alan Elwood, he is trying to make a move on the inside all by himself.
So we'll lose if we take 4 tires, right?
Left out of the draft with no help, as Cedric Hunter looks loud to try to give him a little bit, but he's kind of all out there in no man's land by himself.
All right.
Man's land going to have one driver trying to follow along with them. That's going to be Joshua Kanata, who's been one of the lead drivers that wants this inside lane to work. It just has not rallied for himself. As Alan Elwood's on the inside, I want to give a shout out to Elwood Designs Esports, as Alan Elwood's teaming up with Danny Ware, Richard Thomas, as well as Shane Terrian. Now, again, watching through a lot of these teams and listings of where teams are, a lot of...
But y'all are taking rights this time, right?
Teams just yet. A lot of them are maybe duoed up.
All right, me too.
Or by themselves. They're still trying to find their dance partner before this pit stop happens, which I feel like is going to be the big question. Are you willing to give up track position to...
Should we put it 30 or run it out?
Stops wind up starting. Or do you just pit wherever you are on track position? That's always a spot that I'm curious about watching teams work, because if you do group up and give up that track position, it can cost you if everyone makes a mistake in pit road.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you don't want to pit with a massive group of cars, and everybody is sitting there trying to slow down all at the same time. You have different points in that slowdown point part where cars are going to be going faster than others. Other people are better on the brakes, better getting that car slowed down before that pit road speed.
They're wanting to run the tank out.
That's where a lot of mistakes we're going to. That's probably going to see a lot of mistakes happen.
I'm already about to drop back.
Like pit stop. So the best bet is try to hit off sequence from the rest of the field, but don't completely ruin your strategy on fuel, because you don't want to be 3 laps to go and you run out of fuel and have to pit again. So try to pit with your teammates or your alliances, but do not try and pit with a massive group of the field.
Again, thank you so much to all the sponsors that have tagged on for Season 12. Title sponsor, Elwood Designs. If you're looking to find yourself some custom liveries for iRacing, go head on over and check out to the Elwood Design bases on simrapmarket.com. Elwood Designs has been around.
Let the cars drive right now. I'm a little worried about my brake bias.
Since 12. Love to see the customizations that drivers come together in
65.
You can also find other Elwood designs on Elwood Designs.
Oh, you might want to crank that up.
Elwood Designs, and as well, you can look at
is the good loose for you?
Alan-Elwood on Simrap Market. See all the designs that have been made by Alan Elwood and everyone part of Elwood Designs. We also want to say thank you to Lucky Duck Motorsports, who's our grid sponsor. Lucky Duck Motorsports has been a part of the WSSR Cup Series for quite a long time. It's been a blast to see all the different drivers that have filtered in and now filling in 2 full teams for this season. We'd also love out there to fill up in charity and helping in any way possible with the racing community, as well as so many other charities.
I'm probably going to break early on this first attempt.
Lucky Duck Motorsports drivers are repping a Simplify charity that they have going on. Some of those drivers to watch out for is the 98 of Ben Keeney, the 00 of Brian Noel, the 77 of Douglas Newbegin, the 31 of Thomas Green, the 1 of Gavin Rogers, the 73 of Jake Nichols, the 27 of Jared Talmadge, and the 7 of John Forbes. Thank you to Lucky Ducks and everything you do to help out in the community of iRacing and beyond, as they are a great sponsor. You can check out more of where we are Lucky Ducks on X, as well as Lucky Duck Motorsports on Instagram. You go check out all the ways that they help out the community around them. As those are some of the new sponsors that have tagged along. I mean, Richard, it's always nice to see leagues be able to find new
I got a little less than y'all then.
Kind of want to see a league grow, but also want to just share some of the amazing things that they do for the community. From Elwood Designs helping out with livery schemes and looking at motorsport.
When I cross the line, it says 4.1.
As helping outside in charity help. It is awesome to see these leagues find sponsors that are so great for everyone around.
Yeah, I'd hate to run out of fuel.
These sponsors come on board to help.
Especially if I spin and have to, gas it back up.
They have faith in the league. They like what they see. They want their name attached to such a great product as well. And these drivers, they definitely put on a great show.
So I'll just call it out.
Bring on these sponsors. So again, thank you to all of them for coming on board with WSSR Elwood Designs Cup Series. And these guys are definitely putting on a great show tonight for these sponsors as well. And, Lucky Ducks, like I said, has been around for quite a while, especially with the WSSR. Some great work they do with all those charities as well.
As drivers are continuing to stay in the rain, we've seen a little bit of a split. There's now 2 full packs. We've got our top 15. Then we've got 16 on back. Top 15 continue to stay in the line, just staying either in the middle of the track or up to the wall.
You want to stay out?
They're still trying to find their own footing of where they want to be placed as they continue to lose time to the leaders. On the radio, though, pit roads is about to get busy. Jared Talmadge, one of the first drivers to make the call. He's heading to pit road. Who will join him? That's going to be the true question, because a lot of Jared's teammates are in that second pack 4 seconds now, making 5 seconds behind this 27.
Yeah, downside
Hitting this time, yep.
Now he
Don't
does have
go
some
low.
takers in that front group going with him, but he burnt way more.
When I pull off, I'm going to go low lane into the pit.
That car woed down. Hopefully he was able to get down to the speed. But, it looks like it coming in really hot there. But able to get down to the speed. A lot more drivers in that second group also coming in.
I'm going to take it easy.
Jared Talmadge leading this first group of pit road takers. We'll have to see what these drivers decide to do as Jared gets into his box.
Leader pitting.
Or any tires.
It looks like everyone that's made their stop so far, no penalties were given for speeding on entry. See on the exit is all drivers that made this pit stop. It's going to be Talmadge, Forbes, Reimer, Ben Keeney, Thomas Green, as well as Ross Tatum joining in the groups with Brian Noel. Now the second pack. When will they make a stop as another large group of drivers being led by Brian McCann, Ryan Kelly, and many more in the lead group heading to pit road? And yeah, I mean, they look like they are screaming into that line. You got to be careful not to get a black flag. That could throw away this green flag run for yourself. Everyone looks to be good, and we're left with just 9 drivers left to make a pit stop so far.
And the 99 got spun around backward on pit road, was trying to get into his box, and there was a car underneath him. So unfortunate case for the 99. That is not what you want to see on something that shouldn't have any mistake like that.
Not at all, and it looked like he was trying to slow down. Cody Reed lifting him and spinning that 99 around. Luckily, no black flag was given for Ethan Smith, but the amount of time lost trying to get into his box is what ultimately will throw away this race unless we get a caution flag that can help him out. Here's going to be seen.
It definitely ain't happy.
45 esports drivers heading into pit road as all 5 of them come in line. That's Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, Brian P. Johnson.
Everybody else took 4 or yeah, 4.
The majority of those that are in the second pack. A shocking.
And they didn't lose anything.
Pit was Douglas Newbigging. He did not pit. And he is
we did get the position, but we had the position, so
are not showing signs of pitting anytime soon. And he's by himself. And Richard, this is a lonely feeling for a driver when they have to do a whole lap just by themselves.
Yeah, that's a very interesting call from Douglas there. I mean, he had.
Well, I got a pack behind me.
He was around a whole bunch of.
You want to go high?
He didn't come down with the groups of drivers that were coming down. Because being out there completely by yourself. Like, yeah, you got nobody around you. It's a Daytona. You need that draft to be able to go fast, and that's not the case. He's got a slow lap coming into pits. That's not what you want to see. But he's finally coming down to get his service, get that car load down, going to come in and get his tires. And that's what we've been seeing with these pit stops. It looks like a lot of drivers have been taking the 2 right side tires and fuel. So that's what they think they need to do to be able to keep this car on track with as little time on pit road as possible.
With this pit stop being made, the drivers that should be taking the top spot could be Shane Terry and Matt Meir, as well as going to be seeing the 12 machine of Ryan Kelly that stick together as they continue to stay out. Now they have lost the green flag for quite a while. Now our grid, our live timing is now cycled into the right position with Shane Terry leading the way with Matt Meir behind him. These drivers with alliance with one another as Matt Meir not officially part of Elwood Design.
Well, everybody who just witnessed us take 2, they could change their strategy and leapfrog us.
For another lap, trying to get this left leg for the 9 machine. That bonus point.
Up and on.
So useful later on in the season.
I would just get right to his bumper, but not actually hit him.
Might as well stay out, get an advantage in some fashion, and then just hope on luck that you'll find yourself getting that caution that's so needed.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, they're definitely banking on some luck right now with the caution because, they've been able to get some time made up. They did pit also already once to get
I'm wide open. I can't even get to Larry. Nobody's pushing me behind me.
A little bit further now, but the problem is 3 cars, though they got the draft, it's still not as fast as 5 or more cars. So they're still going to lose a little bit of time. Once
we do have a little gap. If we can stretch it out here, that'd be nice.
They got to look at getting into the pit lane soon, but this could just be all part of their strategy in the long game, not necessarily short, as they're diving into the pit road now.
Now they head into pit road, get service done for themselves as drivers that are going to be becoming the new leaders. Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, Brian McCann, Jared Talmadge, as well as John Forbes going to be that lead pack that have been ramping up their speed.
No, I just about wrecked.
It's a combination of Lucky Duck Motorsports and Cody Glencock Music Racing get together.
Jared got right on my bumper but didn't touch me, and I almost went down the track.
Out there, They are outpacing all the other packs by 2 to 3, if not more tenths each and every lap. This group in a 5 is really putting on a show just based off the time trial laps that they're putting down currently.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job keeping these cars as stable as possible, staying in as close as a straight line as possible as well. That's producing a lot less drag for every single car behind Alan Elwood there. So with them being able to stay as steady as they can, they're able to put down a lot faster laps. You can see some of those lines further back. Like, they're just not staying in a straight line like these guys, like John Forbes and 27 of Jarrett Talmadge, Ada Brian McCann. These guys are doing a fantastic job keeping those cars in a very straight line, not sticking any of their noses out to create any drag. So these guys are putting on a show of how you're supposed to do it as a group here at Daytona.
They certainly are. Alan Elwood, Samuel Garcia trying their best to woo the group, the second pack forward, as they're just about a second away from getting a little bit of that draft. They'll pull him along through this lead group. The second pack, we have Alan Elwood, Samuel Garcia, Danny Weir, Joshua Kanata, Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, and Zach Hall. Third group's being led by Cody Reed, with Cody Reed, Isaac Reimer, Thomas Green, Chris Stitz, Jake Nichols, and then group number 4 is almost 10 seconds back, and they're still all fighting one another. That's from 18th all the way down to 24th. Well, this green flag pit stop is over. Everyone's scattered. It's all about running down and catching up to the group ahead of you. This might be our perfect time to step away and take our first commercial break of Season 12 for the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined with us here for this first race of the season. It's been a pleasure to give you the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
What, Tron?
This thing as we go side by side with all the great action here from Daytona. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, is this thing on? No.
Cedric, mini tack, you guys want to try to top low, see if we can push harder?
It feels good now, but those first 2 laps were a little sketchy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do something different than what we're doing right now. We're just leaving time.
Yep.
The leader just did a 47.92.
Let's try like a lane or 2 lower here. I think we're just slowing the whole pack down, running up, wall riding. Get just a little more of a gap here.
There you go, man. You're doing real good. Keep hitting your mark. All right, man. Halfway this time out.
I'm overheating, boys.
They're maintaining. We pulled away like 2 seconds, but they're maintaining now.
Going in.
Since we got a little breakaway though, would it be safer to take the full tank in case a caution comes out, then we can run some green-white checkers? Yeah, but we just gained another second on them, so we got 5 seconds on them, so they're not going to be able to outpit us.
Full car down low. Go high.
So we can take the extra fuel, no penalty, right?
To the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. Tonight, it has been a fun race of single-file train racing as the chaos is yet to brew up to a point of utter chaos, but we've already seen ourselves a few wrecks so far here tonight. A couple of drivers out of this race, and one driver we were trying to keep an eye on during this commercial break of how are the packs going to close in and group up and try to find a way to get past our top 5. Well, doesn't look like to be the case, as Group 2 that we have our cameras on, they lost the driver. Cedric Hunter in the 13 was being the lead pusher as he was trying to push along in the 16 of Joshua Kanata over the radio, was stating the fact that his engine was about to blow up. Didn't blow the engine, but got into the outside wall. He'll pulled his momentum and just been losing time and ground, and now has faltered into group number 3 that has just collected pack number 4. So it's a much bigger group now that we have here in front of us, as Cedric Hunter is trying to find a way to just slot himself into this grouping, but the momentum is so different, it's really not helping him to find an opening to get in line right now, Richard. This has been tough, but it looks like he finally has gotten up to speed.
Yeah, he's finally got some momentum to get back in line, but that's the problem. Like, once you lose the draft, getting back in line to get that draft back is very, very difficult, because this car just does not grab the draft like we've seen many other, other styles of these cars do. Like the next gen, you can get the draft, you can get pulled right back up into the group. Was Dubing against Cedric Hunter. A quick moment right there. Douglas got into Cedric just a tad bit. Got a little loose, but these drivers keep it straight. 3 wide racing still, but they finally sorted out back to 2 wide and into single file. But a very scary moment there for Douglas and Cedric.
This was something we were touching on while we were on the commercial break, of the fact of if the 3rd pack and the 4th draft pack grouped up, they were going to go from both groups having around 8 drivers each to around 12 to 16 drivers working together, and it's quite hard to find a grouping of drivers as up into the wall can be behind a well. They have double zero just struggling to stay off the wall.
The second pack is catching us last 2 laps.
With one another, are they going to be trying to fight to get better track position?
Not by a lot.
Again, and ultimately losing time to the groups that are ahead. This pack once was just 9 seconds away from the leaders. They're now third, anywhere from 12 to 15 seconds.
They might have just had a good lap.
That was once our pack of 3 has just split it back up to 3 and 4.
Yeah, because we gained a little bit there on them.
You kind of expect, a bigger amount of cars to get a little bit more of the speed, a little bit more of a run, but that's just not happening. It just seems these drivers are getting
I'm just going to blame Ron.
less and less patient with each other. They're just trying to make any pass they possibly can, it seems like. So, I mean, he's still got this front group, and this huge smack into the wall from Thomas Green there in the 31. He's able to get it down out of the group there, but huge hit into the wall from the 31 machine as he slots back up in front of Gavin Rogers.
Everything to make their pack move forward, but no one is running as perfect as our top 5. Ryan,
Ron's going to have the least amount of fuel, so it's really up to them. Do they want to pit with us or stay out?
At all, and they're almost running just this fast.
So I say call it out.
They're fastest laps of the day.
Yeah.
This group of 5 is proven if you can find 5-6 drivers that can maximize on being together, being as close as they can while giving space for their engines not to blow up, you can maximize your speed and pull away from these packs that have got.
We do have 5. John Forbes is with us.
12 machines in line. It does not matter if you've got 5 drivers that are working together perfectly. This is what you get.
Yeah, these 5 drivers are a well-oiled machine. They are going to get it done here at Daytona, and they are just kind of checking out and leaving the field. These guys are definitely in what we call the no man's land for this group. Nobody really in front of them, nobody anywhere close to them, behind them. Got 6 seconds back to that group of 2, who does seem to be getting a little bit of extra speed, might be catching them ever so slightly, but we'll have to see what they can do. But this top 5 almost looks untouchable in this current moment today.
And we're going to bring up a race report, give you, for those that maybe are just joining us here tonight, 54 laps have been ran. Only 1 caution has been thrown, which was a pretty big one. Danny Cochran went tumbling after being some extra damage collected from Chuck Sweeting. But we've had ourselves not a lot of lead changes, only 5 in total. Majority of those were under our green flag pit stop date we had just about 20 laps ago. And currently this field has been split up because of pit stop mistakes. Drivers not being able to get in their boxes cleanly, those that have, but also differences on their pit stops. Some took than others, some took 2 tires, some took 4. That is going to be a factor that I think that's going to change up on this next pit stop, because we're expecting at least 1 pit stop before this race is over. And Richard, I'm curious on, for those that you took 2, do you just take 2 again, or do you take 4? This is a gamble, because we're going to actually have less laps to finish out for this next pit stop, because drivers are expecting the next 10 to 15 laps to pit, and they will have only about 20 to 25 laps to go.
I think that is going to be a driver pending decision there. Depends on how you think the car's been handling, because you take those right side tires, and we've got a blown motor in one of those groups. Who was that?
Danny Ware in the 35, blown engine. The smoke is piling out, and that's from the second pack again. Another issue of they're just pushing these vehicles to their max to try to catch up to our top 5. An engine expiring for Danny Ware. The rookie's night is over on lap 56.
It is unfortunate to see, but they are doing everything they can to push as hard as they can to catch that front group. And they're trying to figure out what they could do. That's not how you want to do it. Pushing too long, getting that engine overheated, that's what's going to happen. That engine has expired. His night is done. That is not how you want to start your rookie season here in the WSSR.
Not at all. The other driver that was noting too is Cedric Hunter. He made a voice over the radio when he was a part of that second group that his engine was about to expire. He had to back out after getting in the wall. Now he's back into a pushing position, but only back in 17th place. And for Cedric Hunter, about 18 seconds behind our leaders instead of just 5 like he was in that second pack. Driver still wobbling back and forth, but this has been a fun race to watch so far. I know we didn't take a look at the weather to start the race off, but let's take a look at the weather and how track conditions could be affecting these drivers right now. Now, we know we're on the 08 surface, so it's a very bumpy track. Air temperature 84 degrees, but that track temp isn't helping anything on the tire wear factor of 97 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a warm surface the drivers are dealing with. But Richard, a factor that we really didn't touch on at all, the wind. That is a crazy amount of wind that these drivers are feeling, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. It keeps swinging back and forth wet.
Yeah, that is a massive set of wind. They're almost 12 mile an hour, and that's, you know, blowing towards the east. That is pretty much straight down the front stretch. So, I mean, that wind, it can play a pretty big factor with these cars. They can get that rear, it will step that rear end out a little bit, but they're doing a good job keeping these cars under control. But like we were talking about earlier, when it comes to the next pit stop, who's going to take 2, or is anybody going to take 4, or if they're going to take any at all? I feel if you take those right side tires, the left sides don't wear as much generally. I haven't really done a lot of testing with these cars on those tracks, so I don't know what that left side tire wear is like. But when you take those right side
You're going to take rights again or lefts?
Outside of the car, which can upset the balance, it can make that car just a little bit more loose. So if these drivers can handle a loose car, take 2 tires, get a little time on that pit road as possible, get back out on track and get to racing again.
We also want to say thank you to more amazing sponsors that have tagged along for season 12 of the WSSR Cup Series presented by Elwood Designs. We want to say thank you to our white flag sponsor, Sim Precision Prints. They're not just our white flag sponsor, but they are the official trophy sponsor for season 12. They were the trophy provider for season 11. Gavin Rogers actually got his championship trophy this past couple of weeks, and it looked fantastic. Expected to be posted here on WSSR Cup Series socials very shortly. But if you want to get yourself some great 3D printed sim gear or one-of-a-kind pieces made with passion and precision, head on over to simprecisionprints.shop. Remember to use promo code WSSR at checkout for 10% off for over $50 orders or more. The Precision Shops, Precision Prints, performance delivered. We also want to say thank you to returning sponsors of GTR Simulators. If you want to upgrade your simming rig to a professional level, head on over to GTRsimulators.com and remember to use the promo code WSSR for purchases of $100 or more at GTRsimulators.com. Don't miss out on your chance to upgrade your rig and race like the pros. As well, another returning sponsor, Trophy Smack. Head on over to Trophy Smack.
Losing speed.
You want to find yourself with rings, belts, also championship trophies, and
I thought my motor was blowing up.
Trophy Smack.
I'm good now. That was weird. Yeah.
Trophies for fantasy football or fantasy sports in general. They want to reach out to more groups. If you're looking for a championship trophy, if you want to show off some of your highlight moments,
it just like stalled out on the backstretch.
All their amazing products. One of those products being their wall smack. Wall smack is a metal plate object that you can put on your wall with their magnet safe placement, or you can get a stand for your shelves or desk. Head on over again to trophysmack.com and use the promo code WSSRSMACK at checkout for 10% off on your wall smack today. That's all of our amazing sponsors. Again, that's Elwood Designs, Lucky Duck Motorsports, Sim Precision Prints, GTR Simulators, and
we got such a gap on the that second pack. We could take 4 tires if we wanted to.
Our Cup Series. We're so thankful for all the sponsors that come on board to help out.
And then the 3 of us could potentially outrun Jared and John.
Tonight for race number 1 of season 12. Richard, this is a tough spot. I think for most of the field, it's going to come down to mistakes by this top 5. If there is any mistake on pit road, it will give you an opportunity, or you're banking on a caution to get a chance for victory tonight.
Yeah, that top 5, though, is some of the top drivers of the league. The odds of them making a mistake going into pit road is pretty low, but it's still possible. But yeah, these drivers, one of 2 things they're hoping for: a mistake.
So you want to stick to the original plan?
Bring this group back to, all the cars back together. So right now, everyone's kind of in that helpless moment where you're basically going to be racing around the guys that you're all.
The only thing I would hate is if a caution comes out and then we got 2 tires and then we have to run the bottom lane or.
Yeah, right now.
I don't know. I guess we wouldn't, would we?
People you're racing, close to, because you're not.
Because the single falls out pretty quick.
They have checked out and are walking away as they're 8 seconds now ahead of that second group.
for those that are watching and have the ability, who are you rooting for? We know some of the fan favorites have already been knocked out, like the likes of Danny Cochran. I know we've got Larry Art's production major sponsor.
I guess we'll just take 2 and see if we can outrun Jared and John. That way they don't mess with us at the end.
Racing League.
Guys in the front
He was rooting for Danny, Ollie, and Cody. You know those guys are a little bit deeper in the field, as well as we have Cody's dad out there in the chat of Lenny Reed. He knows who he's picking for here tonight. But Cody only back in 17th position, and he's part of group number 4. It's crazy. We've got 5 different pods that are out there on track. The biggest group, I believe, is this lead pack, or it's group number 3, with just 5 to 6 drivers. That is crazy to look throughout the field and see what once was a pod in a group of 12, now starting to shrink down into smaller groups.
Yeah, smaller groups are starting to spread out a little bit. That was
taking a full tank, 14.2 gallon
their engine because they're too close to the car for too long. So it's interesting to see what drivers are doing and winding, to see all these pods throughout the entire track. So, man, it's a struggle to see for the feel for these drivers for sure. You got to feel bad for some of these guys, just bad timing on pit road, or just not being able to get their speed up and going with the guys they're around. So it's, looking forward to see what these green flag pit stops coming up can do, and if it can shuffle anything up. But it's going to be a wild race still. Don't think there's going to be a caution.
Good for 2 more.
Small groups throughout the track.
Yep.
Got a couple of people root for Larry Yingling as well. Ducks root for Jared Talmadge and John Forbes in this top spot as they're part of this lead pack. We also have Preston Smith telling Ethan Smith, grab another gear, get moving.
I'm conservative on brake.
I'm not surprised that you would hope that you had another gear. I think for some of these drivers, it might have been a weird swing from the next gen to the Gen 4 on the fact of you only have 4 gears to work with instead of the Gen 7 that's got 5. And sometimes it is funny to try to just, you've got paddles, you've got gear shifters. I'm just hoping, can I bring another gear when out there on track?
Yeah, racing the next gen so long. We have green flag pit stops happening. This front group is pitting. This is not the first group to pit, though. Douglas Newbiggie and Brian Noel, they were the first cars to get on pit road. But these guys woed it down. They're able to get on flawlessly to pit road. Is top 5 not a mistake happened? We'll see what their pit strategy is when they come in. Another group. And the number 5 of Allen, I think he was coming in way too hot. That potentially could be a speeding in pit road.
It is black flag penalty for the 5 machine as well for the 24 of Ollie Fonseca. Fonseca penalty leaving pit road. He'll have to come back in to get service done as Cody Reed as well as the 29 going to be getting their service into pit road, and everyone pushed it as far as they could. Now it's time to get your service done and get back out there on track, as that was a wild one as Curtis Preston was that 29. But Ollie Fonseca has to get service done. Also, Jan Van Leer also gets a penalty. He's got to stay in pit road for extended time, joining Alan Elwood. And Ollie Fonseca having to pull into pit road here for another time under green flag conditions because of speeding pit road. Those are the mistakes you cannot afford to have. And those are the mistakes that did not crush our top 5. Which honestly is going to be the big thing to watch. Or will there be a caution as Ollie Fonseca serving this black flag penalty? He heads into pit road, but he's side by side with Jake Nichols. Nichols is trying to get into the pits. The 24 will slow down and now go into his boxes. The 74 will go in and get his service done as well.
Yeah, let's go quick.
Remember, it's going to be loose.
Finishing up all the green flag pit stops for the field, and everyone should cycle back out. But that top group back in line again already. Back to the well-oiled machine run they've been having. Not a mistake on pit road for these guys. And they're back out and going, trying to extend that lead and make sure that these are the 5 that are going to be racing for the win.
Oh, and even more mistakes hit Ollie Fonseca. He was caught speeding while trying to serve that penalty. That's why he had to go into his box. 42nd hole for the 24. He's going to go now multiple laps down. That's Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, John Forbes, Jared Tollins, Ryan McCann, your top 5. They've been dominant.
No caution, no caution. I'll take a top 5 all day.
Now it's just watch those laps tick away. Cross your fingers, hope that no yellow flag comes out, and it's just going to be a duel between the 5 to figure out who's going to be winning the first race of season 12. There are still a couple of pods throughout the field. There's a lot more lap traffic that's going to be mixed and mingled as well. Can you find any grouping that can help you out? Because the second group is
Might as well
6th
just
place
cruise.
Joshua
That'll work.
Kanata.
We're gonna make
He
any
is
ground.
13 and a half seconds back from the leader. And his group of just 3 drivers not stepped up. They're just losing time. It continues to just get worse and worse for all these drivers. The third pack is 22 seconds off the lead 5.
Yeah, this is just a wild performance from this top 5 group and how nobody has been able to match their speed. Nobody's able to get hooked up, get working together. It just seems like everybody's on their own agenda of what they're trying to do, and nobody wants to sit there and get in line and get their cars up to challenge these guys. And I don't think there's going to be any time, no matter what the speed is they're going to try to put down in those back groups, they're not going to have the time to catch you guys before the end of the race.
As we're scattering through, seeing all the groups, here is your top 5 and where they run right now. Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, John Forbes, Jared Talmadge, and Brian McCann. How well do you want to work with one another, as it is just these 5?
So the 2 cars in front of me are teammates.
Drivers from
The 2 leaders are my
John
teammates.
Forbes and Jared Talmadge. They're from the Lucky Duck main group. Then you've got the Cody Glencock Music Racing group of Brian McCann, Larry.
So at some point,
Ryan Kelly,
near the end of the race, the 2
it's a 3v2
drivers in front of me are going to do something different
for the
probably.
next 20 laps. You would assume that the 3 drivers that are on a team would be the better odds, but John Forbes won this championship.
They let me
WSSR 2 years ago.
back up with my teammates.
Seasons ago. Jared Talmadge has been the most
Might be able to 3 cars outrun 2 car.
tonight and throughout the offseason with this Gen 4. It's been a lot of unknowns with Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, and as well for Brian McCann. But if any team could get it done, it would be the 67, the 3-time champ. Can he start the season off with a bang, winning here at Daytona?
Yeah,
We've got 19 laps to figure that out, and Richard, this is mounting up to be a...
I got a little worried there for a second, but I'm catching up.
if we're able to stay clean and green for these next 19 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hold your
I
breath.
can always ready out to Ryan to hit the brake.
You know, we know John Forbes. He had a lot of run-ins last season with drivers, and he says he's going to race everybody how he expects to be raced also. And he's a very, very, very aggressive, very physical driver. And Jared Talmadge is about that same style of racing.
If you blip it a few times, you'll help me out here a little bit.
These 2 to get their elbows out when he gets close to the end of the race.
I'm like 2 cars off of it, but I can't catch.
3 teammates of that of the 3.
All right, I got it. I got it.
Number 8, who can easily shuffle those 2 out and keep them out of the main draft when it gets closer to the end here. But we got to jump back here to Douglas Newbigging following the number 28 machine right there, trying to get that group up and moving as well.
This is back at 14, 15, 16, and 17th place. This group 30+ seconds behind our leader, but about to be closing in on another group of drivers by Isaac Reimer, as well as seeing Cedric Hunter, and also the 33 joining along with them, as well as Isaac Reimer, the 50 machine tagging along with them of Samuel S. Garcia. And so it's going to collect this group and add a few more drivers. This could help them out, but at this point, you're just minimizing the bleeding that's happening right now. This is getting a little outfocused on the fact of how big of a difference we're seeing. But the fun, you could say, for us and the viewers, the stress for the top 5, they're closing in on some packs of drivers that will influence this race.
I could kill Ollie right
the
now.
likes of, we got GT Rosari as well as Travis Everett. They're about to be seeing Everett go a lap down, and
Brian,
GT
jump
is about to
down.
go another lap down.
Jump
He's
down,
17
we'll pass you guys.
laps
Come
down.
on.
This pairing of 2, curious if they're going to try to latch onto our top 5 or if they even have the pace to do so. And then once we get by that group, we then have a pack of about 6 that then would be run down, being led by Shane Tyrion, Ethan Smith, Matt Muir, Ross Tatum, and Chris Stitt. They'll be under fire, being caught. They're 41 seconds behind the leaders. So that would be right around white flag to 2 laps to go. That our top 5 would catch up to that group, which would add some flair to the end of this race.
Oh, it could definitely add some flair to the end of this race, but even so, this top group, if they wanted to not be involved in lap traffic for the end of this race, they could slow their pace down as well. Not saying that they will, not saying they want to do that. That could, help them with the decisions they make with lap traffic coming up. They have a ton of time that they could easily slow their pace down and give up just a little bit of time so they don't run into that lap traffic for the end of the race. But who knows what their idea is, what their strategy is. Maybe Ryan Kelly wants that lap traffic to kind of disrupt the Lucky Duck drivers. We'll have to see when they catch them. But these guys, this is the race for the win, these top 5 right here. Unless a caution comes out, which would be very unfortunate for these guys. These guys are hoping for a green flag run all the way to the checkered flag.
And some other drivers that are deeper in the field that are...
And whatever they do, I'm just going to try to catch up to y'all.
A little bit of over-adjustment, crushing the wall, lost some momentum in time, has now fallen to 22nd position and has completely lost his group that he was a part of. Now he'll be slowly falling back to Travis Everett, as well as a few others that are about to be going a lap down. The race continues on. 15 laps to go now for this whole entire field as drivers bobbing and weaving. Here's Ethan Smith in the 99.
Before you go to 1, blip it one more time.
This group, they are slowly being caught by our leaders. Looking at lap times, they ran almost a half a second slower than our top 5. Reason why, there's a lot of gaps that are being built out. Also being dragged along the scene. GT Resort, Travis Everett, they've now been caught by the top 5. Drive by Cody Reed will be the next driver.
Those lap cars kind of suck me back.
Lap if this race continues to stay green. But Richard, I mean, really the factor is when this lead pack catches Shane Terry and Ethan Smith, Matt Meir, Ross Tatum, and Chris Stitz, that grouping of drivers, I think that's when the drama could ramp up to different levels of if you're Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling and a lot of those Blackhawk Music racing teammates. Where do you place yourself with lap traffic? Because then it kind of has that short track feel of lap traffic could be the factor on if you win this race or not.
This one's on iRacing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, you can get behind the lap traffic if you're the lead car, help get that tow from them, but you don't want to, give that space on the top lane for the Lucky Ducks drivers to take advantage of that, because you might be behind those lap traffic cars, but if they get that run, they can get beside your teammate Larry Yingling and stop him from moving to the outside line, and then you're just kind of a sitting duck for those two guys as they'd be sitting 2nd and 3rd. So it's definitely going to be a hard decision on what to do. They might just hold their line and let the Lucky Ducks guys make the move, let them try and make the mistake, because if you're just holding your line, it's less of a mistake you're going to make versus the guys trying to make the move to get around you.
Those that are able to chat out there, are you wanting a caution or are you wanting this race to stay green? Type out there if you want a caution or not. I'm curious on what the audience members' thoughts are on this, because I'm curious on how the team finisher is going to change up as driver has now been caught. That's Cody Reed that's about to go a lap down. And Cody expects to stay to the outside, never go to the inside. There's that 25 staying high, going a lap down, leaving us with 21 drivers now left on the lead lap. And out there in chat, Lucky Duck Motorsports, I think with no surprise, they want this to stay green now. Lenny Reed, he wants a caution due to Cody Reed just going a lap down. He would get that Lucky Dog spot. But we continue to stay green, closing in on 10 laps to go. It's getting close, and drivers are getting a little bit more antsy. You've been trying to stay stable. And Richard, when you've been green for this long, you had your first caution all the way back in lap 3 of this race. You've been green ever since then. That anticipation and anxiety starts to
flip it for me on the backstretch.
When do I want to make my move? At what point can I do it? Do I make my move too soon, too late? Those thoughts start rattling in these final handful of laps that these drivers are getting to.
Yeah, and being a driver that has been into situations like that before, it is a very stressful time of the race. It is a whole bunch of questions going through your head. Sometimes you just got to make the move and hope for the best, as we have teammates.
They checked up in a tribal. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Oh, they were kind of fighting each other also side by side. I mean, there's a lot of moments where these guys are getting
that or shake me off the tail here.
A lot of wobbliness from these drivers. We could potentially see a yellow happen if it continues. We got teammates here racing side by side.
Side by side, and this is just for position. I mean, they're about 36 seconds behind our leaders, so they've got the time and space to kind of battle back and forth, get in the right position to fight back and forth. Now, you don't want to just wreck yourself. You don't want to lose the pack that's ahead of you. So So they have to get in line quickly.
Anyway, I'll see that lightning strike. We got to
Pretty
worry about the
aggressively to
fan
get
safety here.
in well, do getting forward and not to lose two sets of Hunter and Co. that are ahead, just scampering away at this moment because of that swap that they just made. And the main reason you might be making these passes, swapping back and forth, that driver that is second in line, if they've been pushing a lot, like we saw for Danny Ware, you can blow your engine if you're not careful. Some drivers are always trying to also think about their engine temps while racing as quickly as possible with 10 laps to go.
It would be to our
engine temperature.
We don't want to catch that pack in front of us.
To kind of balance out. You can't follow too close for too long because you'll see exactly what we saw with Cody Ware. The engine expires, see a big puff of smoke and your day's done. So it's something you have to balance with everything else that you have to balance as well. And that's, you know, these drivers up front, they're doing a perfect example of that. They're not really even pushing too hard, which is funny. I mean, you see a lot of these drivers in these backpacks. That second driver is right up on the bumper of the leading car of the pack. But these guys, they've kept a nice, close distance between every single one of these cars, and nobody's really pushed anybody. This is exactly how these cars need to be raced on this style of racing, and everyone needs to kind of go back and rewatch this and learn what these guys have done, because Talladega, that's the last race of the regular season, and that can be where the championship can be determined as well.
Yeah, got that midway of regular
No, we're good behind us.
Update, curious on how that might change, maybe super speedway package. Would this information that we're seeing here tonight even be useful at Talladega? That's going to be a question mark moving forward, but this has been picture perfect racing for the top 5, who continue to gap away. The difference now over 22 seconds between first place all the way back to 6th place, where we find Vincent Sora, Zach Hall, the 2 drivers that we picked as drivers who will field for you tonight. They're in the top 10, but they're nowhere to be seen for a race win if we continue to stay green like this.
I mean, they are almost a whole half of track behind this front group, and that's not usually what you'll see at this style of racing on any of the stock car styles when you got to make pit stops. So it's impressive to see from this front group, to see what they've been able to do this entire race and just walk away with this race themselves, really. So I mean, if this race keeps picture perfect for these guys, it's something to definitely throw in the books for them. But they're just hoping that everyone else kind of keeps it calm, but it is not looking like that looking back at some of these groups.
Absolutely not. And setting the tone has been the top 5. I mean, Brian Kelly, he's a multi-time leader. We're curious on how this vehicle might set into his racing ways. It's been a lot of, you talk about tire wear. This 3 is always on the top of the charts. We watch out for that. I mean, Larry Yingling, same tire wear tracks. He's usually very strong there, but this 67 is a 3-time WSSR Cup Series champion. He knows how to get it done. Behind him is John Forbes, who won the season 11 champion. I mean, won the season 10 championship and trying to find himself going for another championship if possible. Then you've got Jared Talmadge, the favorite entering into this season. A lot of ramping up conversations have been there for the 27, as he is the favorite.
Yeah, tell me when y'all go 100.
Tracks outside of super speedway racing. Then you've got the 8 of Brian McCann, who maybe doesn't have the most wins, but he was starting to get form at the end of last season. Was starting to find some pole awards. Was starting to find a little bit more consistency inside of the top 15. I think this 8 could be that under the radar driver to watch out for as the season progresses on. And then the rest of the field, they certainly were not there for tonight's race. With the way that pit stops have lined up, the way that teamwork has been the factor, and this has been a fighting, grueling race of who can find picture-perfect runs here tonight. You want to give credit, though, to the second pack. I mean, I'm looking at this, Richard. We're starting to see some moves as Lucky Ducks wants to be the lead drivers come to the end of this thing. Top 5 are now making moves and passes. The last 3 laps, though, there's been a massive cut in the gap. It was over 22 seconds, now down at 18 seconds. Vincent Sora, Zach Hall, Joshua Kanata in that group, they have found pace, and if they can just ramp it up in this top group, makes major loss of time, I mean, there could be a little bit of late race shenanigans here.
Yeah, they definitely could. That second group has made up a ton of time in the past couple of laps, and that's not what these guys want to see in the front because they're side by side now. This is going to cut their times a lot as well. That was a 50-second lap for Ryan Kelly. That is a massive time difference for what we've been seeing him run all race. And that second group, 17 seconds back now. But these guys still running side by side for 1 and 2.
Right now.
Side drafting, hurting their times. Went from
He was on your door.
to 48-second lap times, now into the 50s. This is a loss of time. They needed to get back in line because it went from 22.
They're going to have a pretty good run here, though.
17 seconds the difference between this first pack to the second. I know that's still a major.
I'm wide open. I can't catch you.
Stay side by side. They could have lost this whole entire gap by coming to that white flag. Instead,
I'm catching you a little bit.
Going to be Cody Glencock's Music Racing in line. 1, 2, 3. John Ford, Jarrett Talmadge.
All right, we're good.
Magic. Find the line.
They don't have too much of a run, but they're coming.
To find your attacking move to try to steal this one away from Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, and Brian McCann.
John Forbes is doing a fantastic job. Keeping a decent-sized gap between him and the car in front of him, the number 8 of Brian McCann. That will give him a huge run from the draft, and there you see it. He's going to shoot low down in the backstretch. No help from his teammate currently. He's down there all by himself. Jarrett Talmadge staying on the outside. Finally going to look low as they go into turn 3, but not enough momentum. He's still side by side with Brian McCann as they go through 3 and 4. He will not be able to make that pass. Brian still has the draft from his teammates in front of him.
He's got the draft, the side draft by John Forbes is trying to whoa up that 8 machine. Jarrett Talmadge dropping low, trying to find a way to push that momentum. The battle for third certainly ramping up with 2 laps to go. This is the lap. If a caution comes out, we head to overtime. Otherwise, if you're Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, keep your foot on the throttle and just look forward because in your mirror, John Forbes as well as Jarrett Talmadge have something for you. But caution, will it fly? Trouble further on back. Still no caution flag has been thrown, but we continue to stay green. Richard, they are just waiting. You can see the debris on the apron, but still no yellow flag is thrown. John Forbes still we're close, and we're exiting at turn number 4, looking up to the flag stand. There is no yellow. It is all white waiting for you. It's your Sim Precision white flag in the air for Ryan Kelly and also Larry Yingling. As they look back behind them, Forbes needs a run, but he's nowhere to be found. As the 29 stays low, that's Curtis Preston. It's now down to our top 5. Make some magic here with a lap and a half to go.
Lap enough to go. John Forbes has got to make a move later in the race. I think this is too soon for John Forbes. The move has to be made in 3 and 4, but I think that's for the window. He's just trying to get in the space, get in front of Brian McCann. He should have the pass done. Brian McCann is now out of the draft as the other 2 of his teammates drop low to block John Forbes.
I'll take a 5th.
Run, all that momentum just for 1 pass. You've got 2 more drivers to get by. It's a 2-on-2. Teammates versus teammates. Will it be
John got 2nd.
Will it be Glencock's Music Racing? And for Ryan Kelly, he'll start the season up with a win. The 3 gets it done here at Daytona for season 12.
Phenomenal race for these top 5s and a great win for Ryan Kelly. Larry Yingling did everything he could to keep John Forbes behind him, but he's got his nose just underneath. He was able to side
race, guys. I'm out.
Back, but a top 2 or 1 and 3 for the